How special is it to be here in the newly refurbished Rochdale Town Hall? A very, very warm welcome to all you co-operators. This year is our largest gathering in many years, and it's made even more special by nearly 200 delegates who've travelled from more than 45 countries to be in Manchester and Rochdale for the ICA General Assembly and Festival of Co-operatives. It's great to see so many of our international friends, and I've been part of some of the events and activities, and it's been a truly special experience to meet so many passionate co-operators from around the world. There's been particular highlights at Manchester City Council, where we held the General Assembly, and then of course Co-op Group have done an amazing job of hosting all of our delegates. It's been a really, really special week. Every time I've stepped out of Hollyoake House, there's been somebody from a different country saying hello. It's been absolutely fabulous. So before we kick off the day, I just wanted to run through a few bits of housekeeping because we are in a Grade 1 listed venue. So you've already seen it's quite challenging getting people into the space. But there are no planned fire alarms today. So if you do hear an alarm, please follow the exit signs. We've got a really busy conference across the 2 days. I'm sure you've not failed to notice the marquee outside the front of the town hall. This is because so many people wanted to come this year. To coin a phrase, we needed a bigger boat. So some of you are now in the marquee. Can you give us a wave from the marquee? Can we see the marquee at all? We're working on that technology. But we want to ensure that everyone's got as much access as possible to the main room to explore the other sessions and take place across the weekend. So if you are in here and at some point you're happy to go in the marquee, we will still be able to take questions and interact with the marquee. So yeah, I'm going to ask you to pull out all your cooperative values in this quite challenging venue, self-responsibility, solidarity, and if you could be patient and cooperative as possible, I'm sure we'll get so much out of the next couple of days. We've got a packed agenda with sessions running in this main room and some brilliant breakout sessions in the council chamber, Bright Hall and the activity room. So please do explore. And of course, we've got Toad Lane, the museum over the way, which will be open as well on Saturday now by special request. But you can access all the details of sessions and speakers and timings in the programmes. The QR code is printed on your programme and is on the screen now. I'll also highlight what's coming up before and after each section. We'll be using Slido for people in the marquee to ask questions, but hopefully, like I say, technology permitting and patience of everybody, we'll have a fabulous 2 days here in the Rochdale Town Hall. So, without further ado, I would now like to introduce onto the stage Paul Waugh, who is Rochdale and Labour's cooperative MP. Can we welcome Paul, please?
Thanks, Rose. Welcome to Rochdale and welcome to this fantastic Rochdale Town Hall. This magnificent building is testimony to the working class graft and working class craft that make the cooperative values of this town so special. But it's not a relic. This is a point you'll be hearing hopefully a lot over the next 2 days. This is a living, breathing building, just as thanks to the local Rochdale Council, which is a cooperative council. It's in community use every single day. And I wanted to make the point that the co-op movement itself is a living, breathing thing, obviously. It's not a historic relic. It's a living, breathing force for social justice in Rochdale, in the UK, and across the world. And that's why we're so delighted to have so many international delegates today. I can't tell you how proud I am of this building, but I also can't tell you how proud I am to be the very first cooperative MP for Rochdale. It's a bit of a historical quirk of the previous Labour MPs. Other previous Labour MPs, and thanks to Co-op's rules, weren't allowed to become a Labour and Co-op after election, but I wanted to be the Labour and Co-op before election, so I've always been the Labour and Co-op MP. But through thick and thin, no matter how all the mud is thrown at this town, I just want to say, no matter how tough things are, the one thing that we've always been able to tell the world is that we're the birthplace of an amazing social movement of cooperation. For me, it's personal. The very fact that 4 of our original 28 pioneers, the Weavers and the Warpers, came from Spotland Bridge, where I grew up, just makes me so proud of all that working class ingenuity, the self-help, and the reliance that they showed 181 years ago to set up in the first place. So when you see, and you go into Toad Hall, you see all the addresses of those pioneers. It's got Milkstone, Drake Street, John Street, Shawclough, Lower Place, and Toad Lane itself. You just see that the Co-op has roots in every single street in this town. I love, too, the fact that our 7 sisters, the tower blocks that are a symbol of our town, were numbered to match the 7 Rochdale principles of the Co-op movement. That's why there are 7 of them. And they're as valid as ever, those principles. Democratic control, 1 member, 1 vote, pure and unadulterated goods, that's more important than ever. Religious tolerance, more important than ever. And obviously cooperation amongst co-ops at home and abroad, that genuine sense of social solidarity. I mentioned self-help, and it's worth saying just how much of an enduring working class value self-help is. And many people hate the idea, certainly in Rochdale, of handouts or things being done to them. They want to do things for themselves, and that's what this movement is all about. Long before a certain blonde buffoon came about talking about take back control, the Co-op movement knew all about it in the first place. The reason I'm proud to be the cooperative parliamentarian is precisely because it's only through government that actually you can create the conditions that help co-ops thrive. And mutuals as well. Just as the Labour movement realised in 1900 it needed a political party with the trade unions. In 1917 we set up the Cooperative Party precisely because the government at the time was blocking cooperatives. And later our alliance with our sister party, the Labour Party, went on to strength. And just one early example of that, and everyone shouldn't forget this, is that the NHS, which is 77 years old this weekend, was inspired by cooperative values, working people pooling resources to build local democratic healthcare, like the Tredegar Medical Aid Society in South Wales. As Nye Bevan said, all I'm doing is extending the entire population of Britain the benefits we've had in Tredegar for a generation or more. And in 2024, we now have a Labour government that has Cooperative Party members right at its heart, shaping policy as never before. We've got 43 MPs, a record number, 5 Metro mayors, 1,500 councillors, and government ministers in key roles. Jim McMahon from next door in Oldham is a superb local government minister. Alex Norris, who was here the other week, is an excellent levelling up or growth minister, as we call it. Most of all, Johnny Reynolds is the business secretary, and he's got cooperation at the heart of his economic and growth strategy. And crucially, our manifesto commitment to doubling the size of the cooperative economy is absolutely central to everything we're doing. It's been an historic year. We've had our first ever meeting of the Co-op parliamentary group in Downing Street. And as many of you will have known and attended, co-ops and mutuals were invited for the first time ever to number 10 for a reception to confirm that role of the co-op movement at the heart of our economic growth strategy. We've got the Co-ops and Mutual Council created for a new collaboration between government and co-ops. But it's worth saying that this movement itself was born out of hard times in those Victorian times, and it came into its own throughout hard times in history. Even recently during the pandemic and the cost of living crisis, the cooperative group itself, the shops helped many with the cost of living crisis, striking a chord with people who just couldn't keep their heads above water without affordable food. And healthy food, and giving something back to the local community. The Co-op group, I'm really pleased to say, has grown to 5.2 million active member owners and expects that to grow to 8 million by 2030, which is incredible. That proves, again, the cooperative movement is not a relic. It's not some minority pursuit. It is very relevant to every one of our lives here and now. And the stats speak for themselves. The total income of the co-op and mutual economy has reached a record £165 billion. The sector's 9,000 businesses employ more than 1.3 million people. Memberships of co-ops and mutuals has risen by 2.8% to 68 million people. Cooperative new starts are more than twice as likely to survive their first years as a normal business. And one thing that we all hopefully will celebrate later, 49% increase in community-owned pubs in the last 5 years. The Co-op brand also has taken on new life with the Co-op Live in Manchester, I'm pleased to say. I have a sharp pang of Rochdale pride whenever I see a Co-op throughout the country, but when I went to see Pulpit Co-op Live recently and I saw all the concert goers queuing up to the Co-op in that building, it was particularly special. So co-ops are cool again, and speaking of cool, local lad Steve Coogan, you can't get cooler than him, and he's going to be talking about how Middleton's own cooperative movement is really going from strength to strength. The Co-op Bank, I'm pleased to say, is back and in mutual hands with the Coventry Building Society, and I'm delighted to say the Co-op Bank is helping sponsor all these events in the next few days. I'm also so pleased we've got Lucy Powell, the leader of the Commons, speaking today, the queen of our legislative programme, and it's a cooperative set of bills and laws we're introducing. We're overseeing the biggest expansion in support for community energy in history, as Ed Miliband said. We've worked with the community energy and has put it on the face of the GB Energy Bill, so it's integral to that movement for change. And it's fine having wind farms and community benefit, but what we really want is community ownership. We don't just want the crumbs from the table, we want the actual energy itself to bring a regular income to local communities across the country. Community right to buy, again, is really essential, included in our English Devolution White Paper, and the Treasury, believe it or not, is finally switching on to cooperatives and trying to make life easier, talking to regulators, making sure that we've got a law commission switching the law and the legal impediments to many mutuals and cooperatives. Retail crime, community right to buy are key to our legislative changes, but also help for credit unions and a small business strategy. Not forgetting the Bright Future Co-op project, which helps modern slavery victims into employment. And after the spending review, we've now got 350 more communities that are going to take control of funding by giving them the power to improve parks, youth facilities, swimming pools and libraries, all day-to-day things that impact on every person's life. But most of all, the cooperative movement is about individuals working together. And here in Rochdale, I just wanted to shout out two great examples. David Templeman is a farmer who owns Warland Farm up in the moorlands on the border with Yorkshire. It's a remote place, hard to reach for those energy giants. So he decided he wanted to do a co-op energy plan. So he's got a community energy scheme, he's got a grant now, and he's going to combat with using the stream on his land. He's going to use hydropower and solar power on the farm to combat fuel poverty amongst that hamlet that he lives in. A really good example of self-help that this cooperative movement's all about. Rachel Law is another fantastic person locally. She runs Possibilities, which is a social enterprise, she's a former Rochdale Council adult care member of staff, and they provide invaluable daycare services and respite care for people with learning disabilities and their families. And just as a mark of just how brilliant they are, the Care Quality Commission inspection rated them as outstanding, one of the only adult social care services in the country out of 89 inspected to get that. That says everything about the quality, the innovation, the agility that co-ops can bring to crucial services like adult and social care. There are lots of other examples you can learn about at this Congress, particularly in the New Pioneers session. Everyone's going to hopefully attend, and what Andy Burnham's doing, thankfully, through the GMCA. But finally, I just wanted to say a little bit about the Rochdale principle of cooperation amongst cooperatives and that sense of international solidarity, which is really significant in this United Nations year. The international solidarity of this great movement is summed up with our links, particularly with our colleagues in Palestine. Us co-op groups, co-op MPs and the cooperative group held a very moving meeting in Parliament with Sama Saleha and Nir Sharon, both from the cooperative peace village in Israel of Wahat El Salam, Nev Shalom. Co-op group CEO Shireen Kurihak, who as many of you know is half Palestinian, was really proud to attend that meeting because it showed that despite everything, there are people working at the grassroots level for peace and for reconciliation and are trying against the odds not to hate their neighbour and to build together. And that village itself, where kids go together at the same school, they're educated together, they work together, their parents, they're a beacon of hope in what is, to be frank, a really, really dark time. And I know that Shireen herself is also really proud that the co-op stocks Palestinian goods such as the olive oil for Zaytoun, and here in Rochdale we're going to try and build on those links. The practical things we can do despite everything that's happening to help our brothers and sisters in Palestine and trade with them is absolutely crucial. I'm so proud that the Co-op has a policy of banning settlement of goods as well, and I think it's really, really important. On my own trip to Israel and the West Bank this spring, I saw for myself the common bonds between that Jewish kibbutzim movement and Palestinian co-ops, which power communities. Both have a strong tradition of self-help. Both work the same landscape, a beautiful landscape. Both have women often at the heart of their co-ops, particularly the finance co-ops. And talking to them was a powerful reminder that conflict zones across the world have recovered from conflict thanks to co-ops. And that's whether it's in Africa or it's in Asia, and hopefully it's going to be in the Middle East too. Cooperation is the antidote to hate, and I think that's one of the most powerful social values of this movement that we can all be proud of. In Ramallah, I met the Cooperative Union of Palestine Co-operatives, and they've been a vibrant part of the Palestinian economy in the West Bank and Gaza for many years. There's 800 cooperatives covering agriculture, housing, banking, retail, and artisan crafts, like the crafts that build this building, and credit unions. But of the 25 Co-op HQ buildings in Gaza, 3 have survived. The General Cooperative Union in Gaza City was obliterated. More than 85% of cooperative housing blocks have been destroyed in Gaza. Yet the co-ops themselves, the people and their cooperative movements, have survived. Their priority has been providing immediate relief for fellow Gazans living in tents. They shared with me video footage of how miraculously, amid the rubble in Gaza, agricultural co-ops are growing seedlings for strawberries, peppers, aubergines, trying to rebuild an income amid the rubble. These are literally the green shoots of hope amid all that despair. So yes, we need change, but we also need hope. And that's exactly what this cooperative movement does. Whether it's in Rochdale or Ramallah, this movement and its resilience are needed never more than ever before. Thanks very much.
A huge thanks, Paul. Rochdale is really lucky to have you. I know how much work you do behind the scenes in Westminster. And you talked about the pioneers. Just imagine, if they could imagine what they spurned like 180 years ago, 3 million co-ops worldwide now with 1 billion members. Now, we might not be able to get the tech and the marquee just yet, but I'm going to attempt to invoke the power of Rochdale Town Hall to just see exactly what the pioneers might have made of everything they've achieved. Nearly. Here we go. So, not play it again? We've got to play it again. Can we play it again? Yeah? Well, can you see the fair trade bananas, everything that they've done? There we go. And look how young they are. Some of them at the back. Look at that. It's brilliant. Yeah. Fabulous. So, that's quite a hard act to follow. But I'm going to now introduce, it would not be possible without the gentleman and his organisation I am about to introduce to be able to put on this Congress and keep our member prices as low as we possibly can. So it's with huge thanks that I now welcome to the stage Steve Hughes, who is the CEO of Coventry Building Society, and this is the 5th year running that the Cooperative Bank has supported the event, and Steve and Coventry are now a mutually supportive owner of the Cooperative Bank. So an absolutely huge welcome to Steve Hughes, Group Secretary of Coventry Building Society.
Thanks, Rose. I did say to Rose, we were 20 minutes late starting. And I said, on a weekend at Oasis retour, that's a bit rock star behaviour from Rose. And what she said to me was, she's taken a leaf out of Shirley Bassey's book. So Shirley Bassey would refuse to do any gig at the Royal Albert Hall until every seat was full. And Rose has played that card today. I was a bit late this morning, and then one of my colleagues had to call Shirley to say, Steve will be arriving. And then I turn up, and the look of disappointment on Shirley's face, that it was me and not Steve Coogan, it will actually stay with me for the rest of my life. Look, it's a real privilege to join you in Rochdale. Albeit I was telling Paul, it's not my first visit to Rochdale. I've been to Spotlands twice to watch my team, Swansea. And Paul was telling me he's still a season ticket holder at Rochdale today. It's safe to assume the welcome I've had today was much, much warmer than it was from the Rochdale fans. But that's the tribal nature of football. I know that this is a place that means more to the movement than most towns ever could. It's where the values we all hold so closely came to life and proved their worth. In this UN International Year of Cooperatives, it's right that we reflect not only where we've come from, but where we're going and how we get there. The Rochdale pioneers that started the cooperative movement knew hardship. They were working people who had been shut out of a system that was never built for them. So they built something different. They didn't set out to make history. They simply wanted fairness, dignity, and control over their own livelihoods. But in doing so, they sparked a movement. One based on self-help, equity, and democratic ownership. And 180 years on, that movement is still alive, thanks to them and every one of you in this room. In every credit union, community co-op, mutual organization, that pioneering spirit still endures. At Coventry Building Society, we're proud to continue that mission. Founded in 1884, when accounts could be opened with as little as a sixpence, we're now one of the largest building societies in the world. As a mutual building society, we don't have shareholders to answer to. We exist for one reason, and that's to serve our members. That's what mutuality means to us. It's not just a business model, but it's a belief system. And if you're a member or customer, you'll know that earlier this year, we were proud to welcome the Cooperative Bank into our group. A move not rooted in acquisition, but in alignment. Alignment of values, of purpose, and of principles. The remutualization of the Cooperative Bank. The Cooperative Bank has always stood for something different. A bank guided by the idea that doing business responsibly, it's not a slogan, it's a standard. And that's why this step made so much sense. Together, we now have over 4.5 million members and customers. Our intention is to bring a broader range of products, services, and value to everybody that we serve. We're here to help people save for their future and to own a home safely, sustainably, and affordably. And now with the Cooperative Bank, we are helping people manage their everyday banking and to help ethically minded organizations to thrive and create good work and employment. These are not just financial goals, they're human ones. Last year at this Congress, you told my team that our number one priority had to be improving service. Well, we listened. And since we welcomed the bank into our family, the bank has had its best service performance in 6 years. And we're now investing more in our branches, our communities, and in our digital services to help you get more. I genuinely believe that this is a truly transformational combination that secures the future of the society and the bank, and means that together we will deliver a genuinely different choice for UK consumers and the organisations they work for. One of the strengths as a combined organisation are the values that we share and our ambition to make powerful and positive change. The Co-operative Bank was the first UK bank to launch a customer-led ethical policy. The Coventry Building Society was the first society to become a certified B Corp and is award-winning for its social impact. In the bank's last customer poll, our customers told us that they want to see us act on issues like climate change and social inequality. But importantly, they wanted to see us supporting the cooperative sector and actively promoting cooperative business. Together, we will do more, not less, to build a more sustainable society. We're here today because we want to ensure that cooperatives like yours can talk to us about the support we can offer, but also because our customers recognise the importance of the cooperative and mutual sector, and they want us to embrace it. So please visit our stand over the next 2 days and chat to my colleagues, Amy and Sean. They'll be able to talk more about our work within communities, our free everyday community banking proposition, and help you with your banking needs, whether they be personal or business. I'm proud that in partnership with Co-operatives UK, as well as sponsoring fantastic events like this, we've provided over £3 million of funding since 2016 to support a far-reaching business support programme, which has empowered over 4,000 groups. Incredibly, 80% of those receiving that direct support, they're still trading today, which is fantastic. There's some fantastic examples in the room. Whether it's Colville CAN, a cooperative community regeneration project in Leicestershire, Student Co-op Homes, the UK Federation of Student Housing Co-ops, or York Supplies, a well-loved hardware store in the centre of Birmingham. We're proud. We're proud to have supported you and to see your local communities benefiting from the incredible work that you do. We're also proud to help Co-operatives UK to inspire the next generation of co-operators by sponsoring the National Youth Summit on Cooperation, which will be held here alongside the Co-op Congress tomorrow. And I'm really pleased and proud to see some of my own graduates here over the next couple of days. So as Paul had said, late last year, Rachel Reeves announced her ambition to double the size of the cooperative and mutual sector in her Mansion House speech. Andrea Melville, the new CEO of the bank, the first female CEO of the bank in 152 years. She joined the reception at 10 Downing Street for cooperatives and mutuals, and it was encouraging to hear, as Paul has reinforced today, that these commitments were reaffirmed. So whilst these are positive developments, the power of the sector to create sustainable growth has long been overlooked. At a time when trust is low, when inequality is rising, and when communities feel left behind, we believe mutuals and cooperatives can offer a better answer. It's not about short-term returns. It's about long-term solutions. It's not about maximizing profit. It's about maximizing benefit. Our members tell us the proof points of mutuality are great value, brilliant service, keeping their money safe, and making a difference to them, their family, and their world. We strongly believe that mutual banking models provide a credible and ethical alternative for personal and business customers in the UK. And we know that the model works. Mutuals consistently show higher trust, better customer satisfaction, and stronger resilience in tough times. But we need to shout louder about it. This year must be a turning point, a moment when cooperative and mutual voices are heard, not just in this room and in Rochdale, but in Westminster, in the city, and in every community across the UK. We must work together to achieve more prominence in our economy, whether through housing, health, energy, or finance. Because when people have a say in the institutions that serve them, the outcomes are better and fairer. To me, it's simple. The values started here in Rochdale are not relics. They're radical, and they are relevant, and they are needed now more than ever. At Coventry Building Society, and with the Cooperative Bank by our side, we will continue to champion mutual and cooperative values in action, values that we live with every day. So let's remember the Rochdale pioneers. They didn't wait for permission to build something better. They just got on with it. And maybe we should do the same. Thank you.
Thank you so much.